Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskritya Devasarī Narustama Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tatudaya Mudiraye Naśķapaistu Abhadraistu Nitya Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavatam Uttamas Loke Bhakti Bhavati Naistike Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govinda Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. I welcome you all to this morning Bhagavatam class. So we'll be taking our reading from Canto 10, chapter 16, from text 36, 37, and 38. 36, 37 has no purpose. So I suggest I quickly run through the translation. Then the 38, we can concentrate on that. Right? Thank you. Text 38, translation. Oh my Lord, we do not know how this serpent Kāliya has attained this great opportunity of being touched by the dust of your lotus feet. For this end, the goddess of fortune performed austerity for centuries, giving up all other desires and taking austere vows. Text 37. Those who have attained the dust of your lotus feet never hanker for the lordship of heaven, limitless sovereignty, the position of Brahma, or rulership over the earth. They are not interested even in the perfection of yoga or in liberation itself. So the text 36 is asking the Naga Patnis, which we can see from this first sloka. The Naga Patni, they are showing the quality of a dynamic mother. In fact, today is like a day for the mothers, and we will see how it goes. But first of all, this 36, Jiva Goswami has a commentary to it, the reason why Kāliya got this eligibility to have the Lord's lotus feet in his head. He said, Kāliya got his eligibility, his qualification, because of one, Yamuna within Vrindavan, and two, because the Naga Patnis, the wife of Kāliya, they were devotees. These were the two reasons Jiva Goswami has given in his Tattva, in his Kama Sandarbha, that Kāliya got this opportunity because of these two reasons. Gotten the lotus feet of the Lord in his head. So, today's verse, it has so much in it. So I would request that Mahaprabhu, you can go through the translation. From there I pick it up from you. Thank you. The Sanskrit words.
Speak closer.
Okay. Text 38. Okay. Go ahead. Go through this translation. Dresham
tamo-janiḥ krodha-vaśo ahīśaḥ. saṁsāra-cakre vibhavaḥ śarīriṇo yad-icchataḥ syād vibhavaḥ samakṣaḥ nāthāpa durāpam anyais tamo-janiḥ krodha-vaśo ahi-īśaḥ saṁsāra-cakre bhramataḥ śarīriṇo yad-icchataḥ syād vibhavaḥ
Mothers, please. That this Kāliya, Nath, O Lord, Api has achieved durāpam, difficult to achieve, anyaiḥ by others, tamaḥ-janiḥ, who was born in the mood of ignorance, krodha-vaśo, who was under the swirl of anger, even eṣaḥ, the king of serpents, saṁsāra-cakre, within the cycle of material existence, bhramataḥ, wandering, śarīriṇaḥ, for the embodied living entity, syāt, by which dust of your lotus feet, ahi-īśaḥ, who has material desire, syāt, manifest, vibhavaḥ, all opulences, samakṣaḥ, befall his eyes. Translation. O Lord, although this Kāliya, the king of the serpents, has taken birth in the mode of ignorance and is controlled by anger, he has achieved that which is difficult for others to achieve. Embodied souls who are full of desires and are taught wandering in the cycle of birth and death can achieve all benediction manifested before their eyes simply by receiving the dust of your lotus feet. Kindly repeat. O Lord, although this Kāliya, the king of the serpents, has taken birth in the mode of ignorance and is controlled by anger. He has achieved that which is very difficult for others to achieve. Embodied souls who are full of desires and are thought wandering in the cycle of birth and death can achieve all benedictions manifested before their eyes simply by receiving the dust of your lotus feet. Purport by the servant of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki. It is rare for a conditioned soul to free himself from the contamination of illusion and thus become established in perfect consciousness of the Absolute. And yet, this benediction was achieved by the serpent Kāliya because the Lord personally danced upon the serpent's hoof with his lotus feet. Although we conditioned souls may not receive the mercy of having the Lord dance on our head, we can receive the dust of the lotus feet of the Absolute through the Lord representatives, the bona fide spiritual master, and thought, go back home, back to Godhead, forever free from mysteries and ignorance of the mundane universe. Umagyana timiranjasya anjana shlakaya chakshu avenitan yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutane Shimanti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Visishya Sunyavadi Piskatiyatana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. The translation once again. O Lord, although this Kāliya, the king of the serpent, has taken birth in the mode of ignorance and is controlled by anger, he has achieved that which is difficult for others to achieve. Embodied souls who are full of desires, are thoughts wandering in the cycle of birth and death, can achieve all benedictions manifested before their eyes simply by receiving the dust of your lotus feet. So, in the previous text, which was 36, we have given a remark of the result of Kāliya achieving this benediction of having the lotus feet of the Lord in his head, which is very difficult, for Lakshmi Devi, Brahma, and others. He got this eligibility by the grace of his devotee wife, the Naga Patnis, and Yamuna within the dam. This was referenced by Jiva Goswami by his Kama Sandarbha. So these have been established. Now we want to quickly look through today's text. And before we do that, we want to acknowledge the mercy of our spiritual masters, our superior guide, His Holiness Janandana Goswami Maharaj. Please, your Ashrawat Maharaj. Please, other Vaishnava devotees here who are superior, we request your ashravas that we may be able to say something from this wonderful text, which actually is more like a glorification or the superior nature of the ladies, the superior nature of the ladies, of the mothers. Because by their mercy today, we see how, just like by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are all here. So by the mercy of the Naga Patnis, Kāliya got relief from the, from the hands of Krishna. But there are many things that is attached to this particular text, which I think we can quickly will throw so much light as according to the time. But I will try as I can to stretch this class to 45 minutes. Then we can take some question and answer. Hare Krishna. So we see here is very practical from what we learned from Bhagavad-Gita. You know, they say the reason why Krishna come oftentimes is to demoralize, you know, the unjust and to establish the just. So we see Kāliya here is being demoralized because it was creating havoc for the down verses. But the point here we wants to add, we wants to put forward for us to be able to really get the full gist of today's text. I have framed a topic that will enable us to get more light on today's topic. So the topic I have today is punishment. It's an art of grace or compassion. Punishment is an art of grace or compassion. So the point here is punishment really an art of grace or compassion? Because here we hear from the Kāliya, the Naga partners, they are saying from different commentaries, especially Sanat Goswami and Vishwananta Chakravartipad, they are saying this punishment you have made, you have given to this our husband, Kāliya, is not unjust, it's just. Because he deserves it. So we want to look through the eyes of punishment. Is punishment really a just thing? Is punishment really a just as the Naga partners have, assert, has claimed to be? So is punishment, a wonderful thing in the life of devotees? So we want to look into this particular aspect of today's text. Punishment is an art of grace or compassion. So before that, I have raised a question. Is punishment really an art of grace or just a different way of derogating somebody? But we will see from Scripture whether it's really an art of grace. Hare Krishna. Amazing. In Canto 9, Chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam, 1 to 3, Srila Prabhupada has purport to 1 to 3, then Vishwananta has purport from 1 to 10. But Sister Moni has a disciple. And he has given these disciples a peculiar order. What is that order? Day and night, hold the sword and protect the cows. This was its order. Day and night. Day and night, hold the sword and protect the cow in the shade. Because of this order, the disciple was unable to have a wife. Because somebody who has a duty day and night, how can he have a wife? So one time, there was a tragedy. A tiger entered the shade where the cow were living. Okay, thank you. A tiger entered the shade where the cow were living, and this disciple heard the screaming of the cows. So he came out. And this particular night, there was no light. The whole place was dark because the clouds has entered the star. So in attempt to save the life of the cow, he chopped off the head of one cow and chopped off the ears of the tiger. So his intention is that I have done justice. I have, the tiger screamed and ran away. So when the day got bright, he went to the shade and he found that he has chopped off the head of a cow. So Vasistha Muni, who has given these disciples this service, he didn't even reflect what would be the atonement, things like that. How can he rectify himself? What punishment? Things like that. He caused him instantly that you will not be a fallen Kshatriya, but you will be a fallen Sudra. So, the Naga pattern here, they are telling us that punishment is just. So we want to ask. I want to ask this question to the ladies because today's section actually refers to the lady. With this art that Vasistha Muni has displayed to his world disciples, is this art just or unjust? The question is for the ladies. Is the art just or unjust? Please raise your voice, let's hear you. It's just. Okay, can you give us one reason why it is just?
Because somebody has other vision, so his curse will not come now, because he knows with that curse that will be blessing.
Okay, Mataji says that the cause was just because it was not seen within now, it was seen for the future. So do we have any other comments? Any other agreement with her? So probably maybe we can have a mic at the back so we can hear what the mothers are saying, because probably said the voice. Pardon?
They can't hear on the internet either.
Okay, so that we make mic available for them at the back. Thank you.
You're better off this week. Their opinion later.
Okay. So the question is clear. My question is, what Vasistha Muni has done to his disciple, is it just or unjust? That is the question. So Mataji has said it's just because Vasistha was not seeing the present, he was seeing the future. Good.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
It is just
Okay.
because Guru takes responsibility on his disciples. He should act in some way to respond to his action. It doesn't mean that cloud close the moon, there is no light, there is nothing. Disciples should perform strictly the order given by Guru. He didn't do this. He was sleeping. That's why he cut the head of cow. He had no intelligence. He didn't use his intellect to how to perform perfectly the order of the Guru. So he must be punished, and very severely.
Thank you. That was very hot. He should be punished very severely. Thank you. But do you actually see the implications? One of the implications is that because of this duty, the disciples was deprived of having a wife. That was one duty was there. So this implication was there. But here, the Naga partner, they are saying that this punishment the Lord is giving to Kāliya is just because he deserves it. But there has a motive. What is their motive? They say you should forgive him. Why will you not forgive him? His poison. Who has given him his poison? You are giving him punishment, but you are the person who has given him the poison. So why will you not forgive him? So we can, if we want to analyze this particular section, we will ask the question, the Lord giving Kāliya punishment, is he actually just? Because Kāliya poison was not manifested by himself. The Lord has given him that ability to, to dish out something, right? So the Lord is punishing him now. Does it make the act just? That is the point. So how does this particular section apply to us? That is my concern of today's section. How does it apply to us? Because we are supposed to hear the scriptures, meditate on it, and see how we apply it in our life. How does it apply to us? We may say that, but I'm not Kāliya. But in one way, we are all Kāliya. If we are on this path, we don't face chastisement, we don't come across difficulty, that signifies that we are not fully on the path. Because this Krishna consciousness means that we are to be conscious 24 hours. And to be conscious of 24 hours means that oftentimes we are going to meet with difficulties. We are going to meet with different challenges. How do we see these challenges? How do we see these challenges? Do we see these challenges as hatred? Do we see these challenges as this is the favor or mercy of the Lord? So how does this particular section relate to us? This is my concern today. Let us take, for instance, I have appointed a devotee for a particular duty, a particular function in the temple. And somehow along the other, the devotee, we are doing well, but somehow because of a narrator, then he got influenced and he acted below the expectations. So, I did not realize in the first place that I was the person who has given him this duty. But my reaction as punishment was to send him out. My reaction was to, put him in a way that I think is punishment, but actually it's not really punishment. So here, how do we actually get this light into our heart? Is punishment, is punishing that devotee? Am I really helping the devotee to rectify what he has done? Am I really helping that devotee to understand that his act was contrary against the will of the institution? So these are something that we have to think. So I want to revert this scenario again. I'm given a position, or I'm in a position, then I have given a particular devotee some duty. And somehow, the devotee somehow acted improperly. So, I dish out a punishment to him. And the punishment, which we're supposed to make for his rectification, but he turns the other way around. So in this case, I'm asking, have I done justice to the devotee? Have I done justice to myself? Any comment? Any comment? Good. Any comment? Good. Any comments? Yes, there's a comment. He has a comment.
Krishna.
Thank you.
It's an interesting point, and the first thing that comes to my mind personally is that we are not God. We are not Krishna. It's not our job to decide to exile somebody from the institution or to decide who is qualified to stay or who is qualified to leave. Everyone in this world is suffering, and everyone in this world has made so many infinite series of mistakes, and it's only our job to try our best to act as das, anudas, 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 and be caring and kind and loving, and give nice structure and discipline in a kind way that supports people, and leave the rest up to Krishna, because it's Krishna's job to decide whether or not we should kick someone out. That's his job, it's not our job. That's my comment, Prabhu.
Thank you. It's a good comment. Good comment. Do we have one more comment before we? One more comment or one more? Prabhu has something to say, please.
Thank you for your beautiful class. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.40.8, there is one verse. Tatte anupampam susamiksamano gunjano evatma kripam vibhavaḥ. Read back Opulbir. Tatte anupampam susamiksamano gunjano evatma kripam vibhavaḥ. Vibhavaḥ namaste jivitayo mukti pahade sadayapa. Translation: My dear Lord, one who is earnestly waits for your lotus feet, by mercy of your lotus feet, all the while patiently he is suffering his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances. It is surely eligible for him liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. We are suffering in this material world because of our past misdeeds. But if we following devotional service, devotional activities by Guru's mercy, if we study scripture, but we are not getting chance for preaching Prabhupada's mission, Prabhupada's mission, because of our past misdeeds, we are suffering. There are two kinds of living entity, Sarpa, Pura, Khalak. Snakes are very envious, very jealous to others. You are going to one place, he will bite you unnecessarily. Another one is male snake. He is very dangerous than the animal snake. Unnecessarily you become jealous, unnecessarily become envious to you. You have qualification, but he will not give you a chance for doing the seva. This is the reason in this material world.
Thank you. So, to draw the light, to draw the point close again, punishment is an act of mercy. But sometimes, if the punishment is given with the intention, to purify the devotee, and how do we know the punishment that is made or that is for the intention of purifying a devotee? The person who is giving that punishment is not seeing himself. It's just like there is a phrase in medical professionals. First of all, treat the disease before the patient. First of all, you treat the disease before other details. So, we'll have different disease. And this disease should not be aggravated. How? In attempt to treat a disease, I may make it more compound. Why? Because I put myself in that procedures of punishment. Let's look at the scripture once more. Look at the different scenarios that Krishna has dished as punishments to different personalities. Look at how he dealt with Indra. Look at how he dealt with Brahma. Even look how he's dealing with Kāliya, without attachment. In this light, that particular person that the punishment is being made for, he will get the message. He will get purification. And the person also who is offering that particular punishment will also get purification. This is the mindset or the understanding of punishment. But punishment should not be the other way around. It should not be because I have gotten this particular person in mind before, therefore it's my privilege. No. The person you're giving that punishment will not get purification, and you who is giving that punishment, you will not get purification. It becomes contaminated. So in whatever we do in spiritual life, they are all meant, irrespective of the service, they are all meant to purify us, to give us growth, to enhance us to chant the Maha Mantra more and more. But if it is not properly done, then there is contamination. There is contamination. If we look one aspect or several aspects, we see that Krishna punished so many personalities. And what is that disease that Krishna cured or punished in them? Ego, I. We are unable to follow superiors. Why? We think I am the superior personality. This ego, that is what Krishna always punishes in every personality. And as soon as they get the message, what happens? It's over. As soon as they get the purpose of the punishment, it's over. Just now. Look at what the Naga partners are saying. Yes, this punishment is right. That is punishment is just. It's for correction. It's for purification. Yes, it's just. It's out of mercy. It's out of grace. But then, who has given him this poisonous mouth? It is you. So because you have given him this office, so treat him in a way that he don't run away from the community. Treat him in a way that it will realize that this punishment was actually my purification. And if punishment is not properly done, the person who is being punished, because the purification will not come to him, he will go here and there to gossip, say the opposite. This person has done like this because of like this. This person has done like this because of like this. It will say several opposites. So why? Because of ego. And because the punishment was not properly, made out. It was self-aggrandizement punishment. But this is not what this particular text is teaching us. It's teaching us how to make out punishment, which is for purification. And we see in the purport, it is very rare for a conditioned soul to free himself from the contamination of illusion and thus become established in perfect consciousness of the Absolute. So we all are dependent on each other. I depend on Panchagora Prabhu, my superior, Janardana Goswami, which are my Lord. I depend on them. And they all depend on somebody else. This is our process, dependency. Therefore, whatever instruction or whatever punishment that they are giving, it's not for their personal aggrandizement. It's not for their personal, interest. Or whatever instruction is for the interest of those who are involved. It's for the interest of those who are in concern. So, but why oftentimes we don't see punishment as grace, as mercy? Two things are there. We have mentioned. One is false ego. Oftentimes, false ego. I've been around for such a long time. Why is he not seeing my superiorities? False ego. And what are the tips that can rectify this false ego? For us to be able to see punishment or rules or instruction as an impetus for our growth. What are the tips? I have 2 tips today. And these 2 tips is not something that most of us are not aware of. We are all aware of it. But if we take cognizance of them, take more close, understanding of these two principles, it will have a lot of impact in our practice. The first one is PMA. PMA. What is that? Positive mental attitudes. Positive mental attitudes. There are a series of examples we can give on this aspect of positive mental attitudes. Seeing things as Krishna's arrangement or as Guru's arrangement, as mercy from the Lord. This must be there. And how do we develop these positive mental attitudes? By Nam-yagya. Constant chanting. Not just mechanical chanting. Just by the grace of the management, different program is being arranged, especially the recent program, the approach of Maha Mantra. I think it's very good for devotees to take part in all these seminars. Worship is wonderful. It will help boost the idea, the sense of the purpose of the Maha Mantra. So Nam-yagya is that aspect, that is that strength that will help us see things as Krishna's grace, as Krishna's arrangement, as Krishna is giving me this particular lesson for me to grow, or the authority is giving me this particular, instruction or punishment for me to develop. That Nam-yagya we do every day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Let me quickly summarize so that we can have time. I have said, although punishment was seen as, sometimes it's seen from different angle as a derogatory feeling or envy or whatever. But here, in the part of spiritual life, punishment is seen as mercy from the Lord. But punishment will be more enhanced if the person who is giving that punishment is matured. And the person who is being given the punishment is aware of what he has done. Is aware. Because the punishment will enhance that particular person to rectify his consciousness, to rectify his faults. And why do we often have, oftentimes act unjustly? Because sometimes we want to show that we are the boss. And that is even one reason why we are all here. So to rectify this, we have said that we can see punishment as a process of growth by developing two procedures more. The first one is having positive mental attitudes, understanding that these things is for my favor. And we have series of examples we can cite, but because we want to open some time for questions. And the second one is Nam-yagya. Let us give more attention to the Nam-yagya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So question. Yeah, Prabhuji.
I have more of a comment than a question.
Okay.
The topic which you were emphasizing was punishment. And we should all understand that every living entity, from the microbes up to the devas and the heavenly planets, have all been punished by receiving these bodies.
Okay.
And each of us in our body. We have our companion. Companion is Super Soul. He's there to watch over us and to, when we decide that we are tired of being punished, we'll rectify this by listening to his instructions and getting out of this material existence.
Okay.
So, the Nagapatis, they said that the punishment is just, and that's true for every one of us. Sometimes we enjoy, and sometimes we suffer, but all of this is due to our desire to be here in this material world.
Okay.
So the solution is to get out of this material world. And Kāliya was very fortunate that Krishna danced on his head and gave him that opportunity to free himself from material world.
Good.
So all of us must evaluate our sufferings in this material world and free ourselves from this suffering by taking instructions from Super Soul, who's within our body from time immemorial.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada has given us a process, and if we follow that process more holistically, we'll get through it. Thank you for your comments. So he has a... Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, sometimes the punishments are unknown.
Okay.
Just like Chitraketu, Parvati taking the punishment.
Okay.
So in the material world also we see sometimes the punishments are unknown. So what do you say something about that?
There is no punishment that is unknown. We all face different punishments. There is no punishment that comes our way that we don't know. If we are introspective, we see our present life now, our present life. We are very introspective. We have it because of what previous activities. And in our present also, if we are very, very introspective, we see that there are so many things that we are doing that somehow it warrants punishment. And when this punishment is coming, it's coming in a different way that we don't expect. It becomes unknown to us. Yeah, it becomes unknown to us. But if we are introspective, we should be grateful that it's coming in this way. The Lord is arranging it in this way. Everything is known, but we forget. Just like Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad-Gita, you know, although both of us have come, you can forget, but I'm always remembering. Right? So there's no punishment that is unknown. But there can be some punishment that has sentiment. That does not purify the subject, nor the object. Okay? Yes, Maharaj has a comment.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
I
Maharaj.
think what he's saying is curse, because you can curse someone even though he's very far away, and that kind of curse is like punishment I'm giving to you. Punishment must be heard,
Absolutely.
because otherwise how can the other person who is being punished will be relieved from the suffering that he's done.
Good.
So cursing, you can curse anyone, but what's that mean? You know, is it going to be like good for the other person? Usually it is bad for the other person to curse.
For there to be cause, maybe somewhere, there would have been some interaction. There is no cause without interaction. Yes, right? Even though somebody's in Delhi and somebody's costing, there will be some transaction that leads, and that cost will have some effect.
Actually, the one who cursed is the one who suffered the most. Because his heart is heavy. That's why he's
when the art is just, Maharaj, he gets purification. And let us take example of Jaya and Vijay. It's a good example. So their art was wrong. And Narada Muni, purified them by keeping them in a tree. Right? Nala Kuvera, yes, Amanigriva. He purified them by keeping them in a tree. Right? Okay, what about Jaya and Vijay? Is it Jaya and Vijay in Chaitanya Charitamrita? What did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu say to them? You go to the bank of the Gandhi, make some arrangement there, that those pilgrims who come to that place, by having those access, you get more purification. Right? Yo, Maharaj.
They like the punishment so much, they curse so much, their Jaya Vijay, they wanted to have another birth as Jagat and Madhai.
You're right, Maharaj. So just somebody has a comment at the back.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
About punishment.
Yeah.
With the condition of life in this material world, and whatever punishment comes to us, we should consider it comes finally from Krishna, and we should suffer silently and tolerate it, not to judge who is punishing, who is punished. We have no right of this. Because punishment comes from Krishna directly. And what about Kāliya? Kāliya was fortunate enough. He was very much fortunate that Krishna was dancing on his hood, and he was putting blood with poison, and he was ready to leave his body. But Nagapatni, they made mistake. Due to their feminine compassion to their husband, they stopped Krishna to kill Kāliya. Krishna was intended to kill Kāliya, and because Kāliya in his previous life was a great sadhu, he had a very good punya, pious credit, so he would go to Vaikuntha, he will be liberated. And what happened? Just due to mistake of Nagapatni's, his feminist compassion to his husband, he was just stopped again to suffer in this material world. How many thousand years? Now he's in Fiji. Okay, he's doing Krishna Katha there with other serpents. But he would be in Vaikuntha. You see? And in the case of Vaśaḥ Muni, he was a guru. He has the right to punish his disciple. Otherwise, this disciple will suffer 3 years in Narakaloka. How many hairs on the skin of cow? So much years he should suffer in Narakaloka. So he saved him a punishment. He saved him from that. And Krishna paid the right of Guru. He never punished Vaśaḥ Muni for that, and he never punished Shukracharya for cursing Bali, his own disciple. So Krishna knows how to punish whom. All the people on this first planet, they deserve the punishment which coming to them. Any nations, any Russian, American, Indian, or African, doesn't matter. They all got different punishments, different severity of punishments due to their sinful activities in past. So we should tolerate this punishment with humility and silently, not go and judge.
Hare Krishna. We get purification for punishment if we are matured. And what makes us mature? By how much we absorb ourselves in the path that Srila Prabhupada has given us. If we are not absorbed enough in the path that Srila Prabhupada has given us, we will see punishment as hatred. The Shastra did not tell us that the wife of Kāliya was unfortunate, but they tell us that they were the cause of Kāliya's fortune. Why? Lakshmi Devi could not get the benediction Kāliya has gotten. Even Brahma and Shiva, they are not getting those benedictions. But Kāliya is getting that benediction just because of two things. The wife, Nagapatnis, and the holy dam, Yamuna within the holy dam. So what is our fortunate situation? So it's a very interesting thing, but punishment makes more sense when we actually have good practice. Because through good practice, we can see that what is coming on my way is Krishna who is arranging it in this way for me to get more advancement, to get more purification, to be more situated. Hare Krishna.